Hey, welcome in. Well, I think we must be reaching peak clown world. Here's the headline. ACLU head apologizes for editing Ginsberg gender equality quote to erase women. Yes, that's where we are. The ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, is now the Ministry of Truth from 1984, erasing the past. It's really incredible. I mean, they were supposed to be against politically motivated censorship. Supposed to be just against censorship in general. And if this is any indication, I mean, these guys are not fit for purpose. They're working against what they're supposed to be working for. Let me show you something here. Here's their the ACLU free speech page. And here's things we need to know. In 1933, a nationwide ban on Ulysses, a novel by James Joyce, was lifted in 1933 following an ACLU challenge. So it sounds like they did good work in 1933. Apparently now they'd go in and edit out all the words they don't like, including women. And of course, it's well known that this organization has been corrupted for years now and is now just simply a fundraising organization and essentially just a partisan activist organization. I mean, here's an example of the ACLU being useless from November 2019. Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford accepts ACLU Courage Award for putting forward what appear to be baseless accusations, which caused essentially a witch hunt against Kavanaugh. In the past, the ACLU would have defended Kavanaugh, even if they didn't like him. So she won an award for making accusations that were not supported by anything or anyone in an apparent attempt to derail Kavanaugh for political reasons. And that's why she got the award, you see. That's why she got the Courage Award, because the ACLU is now just an activist fundraising organization. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, the American Civil Liberties Union is issuing an apology for a heavily edited tweet that quoted the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsberg on abortion and women's equality, but erased women, replacing the gendered term with person. Why is this important? Because it creates a false sense of history. Because it suggests to people reading about this that Ruth Bader Ginsberg didn't know what a woman was or who gets abortions. So here's the quote that they altered. The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a person's life, to their well-being and dignity. When the government controls that decision for people, they are being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for their own choices, the quote read. Here's the original quote. The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a woman's life, to her well-being and dignity. When government controls that decision for her, she is being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for her own choices. So this altering of history is to make it seem as if Ruth Bader Ginsberg was woke, essentially. To make it seem as she was fully bought in with the woke ideas on gender. And why is that? Because the original quote used women's and the female-oriented pronoun her, references that are no longer acceptable. That's right. That's going to upset some people. That's going to upset lunatics. And they want to preserve Ruth Bader Ginsberg as a kind of saint of the left, I guess. But in order to do that, you have to alter history. You have to scrub any trace of non-wokeness from her life. Because as we know, any deviation from what, a purple-haired gremlin thinks is acceptable today or this second may be unacceptable tomorrow. And when that happens, I guess you can count on the ACLU to task their resident Winston Smith with altering the past and removing all of that pesky historical context, I guess. But in any case, I suppose this was embarrassing enough that they had to apologize. Here's what Anthony Romero, the group's executive director, said. Quote, "We won't be altering people's quotes. It was a mistake among the digital team. Changing quotes is not something we ever did." But as we'll see below, it doesn't actually sound like that much of a mistake. Says here, Romero did try to explain himself and the erasure of pregnant women by telling the Times, that's the New York Times, there are people who are pregnant and who seek abortions who do not identify as women. So what? That's not the quote. That has nothing to do with the quote. That's not her quote. That does not justify you trying to change history, essentially change history. Here he says, in today's America, language sometimes needs to be rethought. So what's he saying? Is he saying that, well, maybe they should be changing quotes, changing historical quotes to match their woke religion? Well, here, I'm going to rethink this language here, where it says language sometimes needs to be rethought. Let's change language to reality, because I think that's what it really means, that reality sometimes needs to be rethought to conform to the modern leftist woke religion. Anyway, I guess the point is, don't give any money to the ACLU. They are frauds. That's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you'd just like to listen, there's the podcast version. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.